Dear colleagues, we continue our working day, and the topic of the current press conference is Russian military aggression against Ukraine, updates on dislocation and activities of Russian regular troops in the east of Ukraine. We have Vadym Skybytskyi, representing Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Chief Intelligence Department. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Chief Intelligence Department offers to your attention the briefing which describes the specificities of forming in the East Ukrainian territories Army Corps number 1 and number 2 of the Russian Army, and we offer to your attention the facts which reflect the documents and interference recording, also the extracts from the combat documents produced by the officers of the staff of that two corps. The continuing aggression of Russian Federation in Ukrainian Donbass is one of the elements of the hybrid war which is held by Russian Federation against Ukraine. The strategic objective of this war is to resume full control over Ukrainian territory and prevent Euro-Atlantic integration of Ukraine. When Russia found that it was not possible to reach this goal due to political pressure, it had started the hybrid war, which resulted in the annexation of Crimean Autonomous Republic, the lost control of Ukraine over some regions in Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast, and the announcement of so-called Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republic. In result of successful anti-terrorist operation, the situation was formed when Ukraine had real chances to restore the control over eastern Ukraine, but this did not coincide with the interests of Russia. And when the regaining of control over eastern Ukraine by Ukraine was very close in August 2014, Russian leadership made decision to bring to entry this territory with their troops. At that time, there were approximately 4 tactical battalion groups, and amounted to 400,000 Russian troops, and the result of that combat was encircling of Ukrainian troops near Ilovaisk and the establishment of the contact line between Ilovaisk and Bezemena. Thus, Russian Federated started its military aggression against our state, having disguised its efforts with the existence of so-called Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republic, and then Russia started to form 2 army corps in the occupied part of Donbass, and which was finalized in October 2015, the creation of the Russian occupational troops on the territories of so-called DPR and LPR was based on the tactical battalion groups of Russian Federation and different illegal band formations led and controlled by the Russian officers from main intelligence department of the General Staff and FSB of Russia. As of today, 70% of the staff in Army Corps number 1 and 2 are citizens of Russia, and 25% out of that 70 are the staff servicemen, and 45% those Russian citizens whom Russian Duma tries to avoid the status of volunteers. To confirm these facts, I would like to present to your attention the interfered talk between Lieutenant General Gurulov, leader of the Southern Military District, and General Lieutenant Kuzavlov, the head of the Second Army Corps. Seryoga. Yes, sir. I'm sending it now. I wanted first thing, as far as the 7th Brigade is concerned,
Розмови чітко.
The content of this talk clearly proves that both Lieutenant Generals Gurulov and Kuzavlov were involved in creating the Second Army Corps in Ukraine. At the same time, in the east of Ukraine, we registered tactic battalion groups from 7th and 5th, separating brigades from 18th, 19th, 28, 32, 36, 74, and 200 separate motorized brigades of the Russian Army forces. Gurulov requested to describe the results of the exception of the battalion tactic groups. I would like to emphasize that Russian commanders were extremely skeptical about using the local population in their armed forces. They define them as redneckers looking for free lunch, the stolen goods buyers, etc. That's why in the 1st and 2nd Army Corps are appointed exclusively from the military forces of Russia. These are staff servicemen of Russian Federation, and actually after that events which I described, both lieutenant generals were promoted. As of today, the 1st Army Corps in Donetsk has 5 brigades, 2 regiments, separate battalions, and provision units. The general amount of personnel in it is around 20,000 people. The 2nd Army Corps in Lugansk comprises 4 brigades, 1 regiment, some separate battalions, and provision units. The general amount of staff in it is around 14.6 thousand people. Also, they have separate assault groups in both corps. The operative planning and combat operations are carried out by both Army Corps in line with the standards of Russian armed forces. The Ukrainian intelligence service possess instructive documents. Also, this slide shows the excerpts from other combat operational documents. Usually, the documents of this style are developed in the staff of the Army Corps by highly trained personnel with a very fundamental military background. As of today, the command over all those troops is carried out from General Staff of the Armed Force of the Military Forces of Russian Federation, and via the commander of southern region of Russian Federation. Also, we do definitely know who are those staff officers, staff military officers from Russian Federation. General Major Valery Asapov, commander of the 1st Army Corps, General Mayor Igor Timofeyev, commander of the Motor Brigade in Gorlivka, Roman Titov, Mayor Vitaly Sukuyev, Lieutenant Colonel Konstantin Konoplyanik, Colonel Kozlov. The 2nd Army Corps has the following leadership: General Mayor Evgeny Nikiforov, Colonel Andrei Ruzitsky, Colonel Petro Bolgarev, Colonel Alexander Bushuev, Colonel Ripnin, Colonel Muradkhanov. The Chief Intelligence Department continues to collect information about the servicemen of Russian Federation who participate in direct military operations against of Ukraine. As of now, these military activities are aimed at strengthening military and combat capacity of both corps. As of today, they finalize the military exercise for regiments and units, and they try to sum up the results of military exercises held during the winter. During exercises, they train servicemen in assault operation, in overcoming water barriers, and also we do know that the Russian commanders involve officers and instructors from the southern military region of Russia to train or to hold all those training. For example, the artillery fire special training, the anti-air operations special training, and other special military exercises were organized with involvement of the Southern Territorial regional center. Also, they strengthened the combat readiness and alarm capacity of all the troops. All the supplies like fuel, oils, food, etc., are provided from the territory of Russian Federation in the amount sufficient for 2 weeks. Also, we definitely know that all the stolen property, movable property stolen by militants was evacuated to the territory of Russian Federation. I would like to show you the second, to let you hear the second part of the talk between two generals, which proves that military transports of so-called humanitarian convoys transport from Ukraine the material values.
Добро, есть вам. Доброй ночи, Товарищ Николаевич. Но вы нас не забывайте, Товарищ Николаевич. Давай, это есть.
Це тільки один.
This is just one of those episodes which prove that the Russian Federation carries targeted activities to ruin the potential, the industrial potential of Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast. Thus, in 2014, Russian Federation started formation in the east of Ukraine of two occupational troops, two army corps, and based on the classified documents. This was done by the Ministry of Defense of Russia. Those two corps are subordinated to the General Staff via the southern military region of Russia. Also, the manning of both two corps were from the staff of the Russian Federation. The provisions of weaponry and ammunition, fuels, etc. is carried out from the territory of Russian Federation. Now questions. Feshchenko, question about Stanislav Krasnov detained for the on the suspicion in state treason. Recently, one of the MPs stated stated that he negotiated with the Russian intelligence service upon request from the Ukrainian intelligence forces. I cannot confirm this. Whether Krasnov cooperated with the intelligence service or with the security service of Ukraine, maybe, but we should ask him with whom he communicated. Any further questions? Yes, there is one question. Good afternoon. I'm Sergei Malerchuk from Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. Despite the fact that the Novorossiya project provided for one unified Novorossiya establishment, but nevertheless we have two people republics, Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republic. The Novorossiya project probably provided for creation not just of Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, but other republics too, like the Donetsk People's Republic, Kharkiv People's Republic, maybe Odessa People's Republic, Mykolaiv People's Republic, who knows. But due to the combined effort of the Ukrainian armed forces and law enforcement agencies, we managed to stop this occupation and formation of the first and second army corps in the territory of Donetsk, of some districts of Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast, was motivated by the failure of this Novorossiya project, because the original design of the Russian Federation was to create all those volunteer forces in the so-called People's Republics on the account of local population. But what happened contrary to the scenario of the so-called hybrid war developed by Russian experts. Thank you. Our next briefing will be at 12.